Yeah. I just wanted to say, sorry. Also, my recording stopped, so I just restarted the recording.
That's okay.
But, so...
If we need to, we could just use mine for the night.
Sir Hammond was dumbstruck by the fact that his friend was leaving the party.
His new friend.
His new friend, yeah.
How I'm going to play Rogue's character is I'm going to assume that he's doing nothing but scouting. And, like, he's going to, like, leave you guys little reports every day based on how successful, like, maybe what's ahead of you, and you guys can make decisions based off of that. So I'm going to roll that in the background.
Cool. Do you mind popping up the map? I guess I don't need it, but yeah, thanks.
For those of you who are looking at the map, we've got some colors on here. This is I know that it's pretty blank right now, but we're going to fill it out because part of what we're trying here is we're going to create the land as we go. So we've got tables that we're going to have people rolling on, and based on what they roll is going to be something. Whether it is, grasslands or a small spring or a lake, woodlands, hills, barren, all that type of stuff. And different things can happen. So, with that said, it is the morning. It is a new day. Who wants to go first for their morning phase, and what would you like to do?
All right. I guess I'll go first because I think it's been me going first a lot of times. So,
sure, taking the initiative.
What I'm gonna do is first thing I'm gonna wake up in this damn bed and why am I in this uncomfortable state? Did they not know that my hole was just underneath the back door? No. All right. Jedro, I have something for you. So I call over my student, and I hand over a couple of things to this student. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand him over I believe it's a acid burst scroll.
Okay.
Or was it acid
scroll of
splash?
Acid burst. I think it was acid. Yeah, something acid.
So I'm going to just hand him over a couple of my scrolls. I want you to study these. You have learned my first tutelage quite well. I want to see how you do on your own. Now, never feel bad about asking a question. Only idiots that believe in gods ask refuse to ask questions of those that know the better.
So that's the kind of atheist is. Okay.
The only kind. It's like, very proud of it. I'm an atheist. Very proud of it.
We get our magic from within. Their magic comes from some stronger being. We don't know, but that magic can be taken away. Ours cannot be. So, come to me, and I want you to learn these.
So, I'm imagining I share a couple of the scrolls with them, like the acid burst, this thunder sphere, and the puff poison.
Sure. So he is, again, he's young, he's new to all of this. So you're currently teaching him electric arc. Do you want to kind of like switch lanes and try and teach him something else, or are you trying to continue?
I thought electric arc was already done.
No, he's got to get essentially 10 successes, and he's at 3 out of 10.
Damn.
To learn electric arc.
I want him to have those scrolls and be looking over them for later. But I'll go ahead and start his morning tutelage.
Okay. Knowledge Arcana. You learn all these spells, and you're still going back to that old well.
Yeah. Well. Are you sure we can't do a cult?
Yep. All right. That's all right. That is a success. Actually, that is double the threshold for success. So I will give you 2 successes. Jedral is, after all, a savant, we decided. And so he, your lesson, whatever it is, it's particularly inspired, and he eats it up, and he is rocking it.
Probably as I still got scars mending from the last battle, because, once again, every combat I seem to get my ass knocked out.
Good rule of thumb is that wizards stay on the back line.
I can't do that. I can't. But hey, at least I've died in a cool way each time.
Well, it got knocked out.
Well, yeah.
Rogue's character, Asgrim, looks... by the way, for those of you who are following along, the H, I know you can see my mouse, so I'm just going to go ahead and point out some of these things, because our players know them, but you might not. This yellowish green line over here indicates barren terrain. They found that there was some type of large creature there, and it was probably responsible for the fact that there was no life in the area. This little dot above them is a small water spring or resource that could be of use to them. And the H stands for Hamlet, which is something that they stumbled upon. Asgrim went out exploring and found really nothing. Just land that really doesn't have anything super special about it. He'll continue to explore. Sir Hammond and Irish, what do you guys want to do?
Sir Hammond what's that?
I'll let you go first.
Sure. I think Sir Hammond wakes up and takes a look at his shield and realizes, oh shit, I've got to get this thing repaired or get a new shield.
Sure.
So I'd probably ask around the town if there's anyone who can do some metal work, repair to my shield. Apparently it only takes 10 minutes with the repair kit if someone has it.
Go ahead.
Do you happen to see Maji at any point during this?
I mean, it's a small town, so I would probably tell you what I'm doing.
Let's let the dice decide.
It's always this game. Nothing is given in this game. It's always the dice.
Come on. That's what's fun about it, though. All right. Go ahead. And why don't you just roll a d20? And we're going to say that, I'm going to say 8 and up, you run into him.
All right.
A high degree of success. That is
I don't
not
see him.
met.
I don't see him.
You don't run into Maj.
I can't find his hole.
But you are looking...
But yes, I'm looking around, asking around if there's anyone who can do some metal work repair on this shield.
There is. I mean, this is a hamlet, and we decided that they're lumberjacks. The last time we played, partly because of their proximity to the forest right there. Yeah, there's people who absolutely repair things because they have to repair axes and the like all the time. And so, if you want to let them work on that, you can hand that off to them. I'm not going to say that that's a whole morning activity.
Yeah, sure.
But I will roll for it to see how effective they are.
Yeah, I can't find the DC on the repair crafting.
I was giving them like a +8 modifier, and so they got a total of a 23. So I'm going to say that they're able to take the entire morning to help you, and they're more than willing to help do that, given that you saved women and children. So yeah, that is a success. Now, what do you want to do in terms of like leading the settlement or leading the refugees? What actions do you want to take?
I think I'm probably investigating the grounds to see, is this place, could it be fortified? Is this somewhere we could land, or do we need to try to convince these people to come with us for their own safety? I think I'd just be looking at the possibility of, is this place really defensible against this these threats? Because they're only scared of wolves, and we've only been attacked by wolves thus far, but we know that there are greater threats all around the land.
Do remember, Maji did give you the idea to make that underwater ground place a...
That's right.
A sanctuary.
Yeah, that's right. I guess that does sound possible. Our creepy underground sanctuary. It's
That
awesome.
was something you guys talked about.
Yeah. It's a like Fallout shelter.
Kind of is.
Yeah, I guess I might talk to our friend again. Let me look at my notes. Arthur Drossop, the former city official who is a specialist in logistics. What he thinks about what it would take to move all these people into a little place like that.
I imagine so that is going to be your action because
Sure.
I'm assuming like you bring him out to the location.
Sure, that's fair.
Okay, so you bring him out to the location of essentially this ruined castle and kind of kick the idea to him about possibly utilizing this as a home
Right.
for the townspeople.
Right.
I'm sorry, the refugees, as well as possibly the folks from the hamlet, that maybe it might be a bit more defensible. He would say, well, let's see what he would say.
See
Roll
what
me
the
a
dice say.
See what the dice say. He would look at you, and you can kind of see the wheels behind his eyes start to turn as you show him the dungeon, as you show him the castle ruins. The fact that the dungeon is still in decent shape, he points out to you, and the fact that there's actual rooms, it's underground, it's hidden. He looks at you and he says, you know, actually, this wouldn't be a bad place. There's the forest right there for wood. No doubt there's game there. There's a small spring, fresh water, game there as well. I worry about our ability to farm and create food that way. There's only so much game. But I suppose that the land might actually be able to be worked and might not be as plentiful as we want it to be, but I think he like turns around as you're kind of like in the dungeon as he's like kind of looking around. He's like, this would be doable for this group of people. I would say you probably couldn't grow. The town wouldn't be able to really thrive. Would be able to, they'd be safe.
I think that might be enough for now. Thank you, Jossop, whatever your name was. Arthur Drossop.
All right.
Thank you. Yes, Sir Hammond's like smiles, kind of feels a little bit invigorated by this encouragement. This feels like good news. And I think what Sir Hammond wants to do is to find leaders, find individuals he can talk to start a campaign to convince people they need to stay here until we can find a safer place for everyone to be.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So you're kind of.
I want to start
that's-
campaigning
yeah,
privately.
I hear that.
Find the important, influential people first. That's how I found Arthur.
All right, roll me a diplomacy check. This will be like Arthur. You bring him there. He doesn't think it's a bad idea. Now you're trying to start convincing people, and it is very effective.
Nice.
A lot of refugees. I'm assuming you take them to the dungeon itself.
Sure. I guess we were close
Yeah,
enough
some
that
of-
it's not like a huge trek. Yeah.
Some of them are kind of skeezed out, just because there's these dead, desiccated vines
Oh, we
now
can take
all
those
over
out.
the place.
We can clean it.
We can rub that right out.
This throbbing veins. Rub it out.
Throbbing veins. Oh my god.
That's a good point. Like, what happened to the veins after we killed the creeper?
They started to wither.
It's starting to
they
shrivel
kinda-
and be creepily dead now.
Yeah. And actually, just so that I can show our friends who were not here last time, let me go ahead and show you what that looked like. while I buy some time.
Yes.
Boom.
So Sir Hammond is Oh, hey.
This is the dungeon that they started off in, that they found. You can kind of see these red veins and apparently it all connected to this giant creature, which we talked about earlier, which looks like this. And it was feeding off of people. Now, with that said, yeah, you're probably looking at the floor. Yeah, you can buff that right out. You know,
buff it
just
out.
makes. Yeah, get rid of those blood stains. And,
There's
hey,
your problem
it's a
right
great-
there.
Yeah, right there. There's your problem. Those vines, they can infect you. You gotta take care of that. It's some Class A black mold right there. But yeah, no,
Hot
people
dish,
are into
hot
the-
dish, you're back.
Yeah. I don't know why I decided on a Minnesota accent. But yeah, so yeah, they're just. It seems like people are amenable to the idea of moving into the dungeon. You do know that some actual work will need to be done to make it habitable, even in the short term.
Sure. We can work on that. That can be a project for the next couple days or whatever. But
sure.
I think that my first job was just to convince these people to move, including the townspeople of this little hamlet. They didn't take the danger that seriously at first, but I want to move everyone down here, and I as a player feel like that's a huge load off of our shoulders that we have to like protect a whole fucking town everywhere we go. If they could just stay here in relative safety, we don't have to keep 30 refugees everywhere we go. That'd be
And
awesome.
to be fair, I mean that's actually a very valid point
Yeah.
because you guys have had 2 combat encounters now. One in which ghouls attacked
Right.
the refugees,
Mhm.
and you were able to save them. And now you've got these wolves that attacked the refugees and the townspeople and dragged them off as well.
Right.
So I mean, having a safe place to deposit them. I mean, like it's almost like fighting with one hand tied behind your back, having to keep your eye on these people who can't defend themselves.
Yeah.
So
The
I hear you.
the never-ending escort quest.
Protect the VIP.
Yeah.
All right, Irish. What is your character doing? What's Yozu doing this morning?
I think she would like spend a little bit of time in a quiet spot and just spend the time to pray and get in contact with a god, and then eventually go and find that kid.
Which kid? Are you referring to the one that's your ward now?
Yeah,
Vamp sip.
Okay.
Vampsip.
Vamp. Yep. That's just fun to say.
And
Really
if
laugh
she
too
can
hard.
find him, she will.
Your ward, he essentially is right by you, and so he's very much within reach for you to be able to get a hold of and to talk to. So I mean, in terms of you looking for him, I'm not going to make you roll for that, especially with Hammond handing him off to you in a very literal fashion. So I imagine that maybe he's like sleeping at your feet, like a squire would, or something like that. You kick him a couple times in his sleep. Imagine Yozu's kind of a restless sleeper.
Just a little bit. Bit of an elbow,
Restless tiny leg syndrome.
So you
Yeah.
wake up and Van Sip has bruises all over his face.
Heal.
Lesson number 1. This is how you heal.
All right, so you are. Vamp Sip is there. He's talking to you. What are you attempting to do?
I would like to take him for a walk in the woods close by
Okay.
to find a quiet spot and find like a decent piece of wood from a tree.
And hit him over the head with it.
It's terrible.
And help him carve out a symbol for
Oh.
whoever
Goes-
he
goes
wants
right, or-
to worship.
So okay, so you're not even like trying to get him to do Gozra stuff. You're
No.
letting him just okay. I like that. That's really cool. So yeah, let's see here. So I imagine you take him out to a forest, and there's a piece that Yozu's definitely known throughout her whole life, worshiping Gozra. And I imagine it's very, what's the word I'm looking for? It's very,
Calming.
yeah, it's very calming. It's quiet, which is part of the thing that you love so much about it. And, let's do that. Oh, of course I can't do that sound.
I was just reading up on Gozray. It's like, born of the ocean's fury and wind's wrath, Gozray is a fickle deity, so they can be kind of chaotic too.
Funny enough, like most of the deities like identify as, like Yomadai is female, so
Yeah.
she's a goddess.
Right.
Or Aristotle, or I'm sorry, not Aristotle. Erastil
Yeah.
is identifies as he. Gozra, if you look at the character artwork, actually, you know what? Let's have a fun little. Let's have a little fun. I don't know about. I like lore. Lore is fun for me. So if it's not fun for any of you guys.
Also, I've noticed that the cleric alignment for Gozray requires you to have some neutral in your alignment. Neutral good,
Dude.
lawful neutral, true neutral, chaotic neutral, or neutral evil. You have to have some neutral in your alignment to be a cleric with Gozray.
Gozra is both female and male.
Nice.
It's just an interesting.
Look at that
like,
wind beard.
I know it's a sick wind
So
beard.
cool.
I wish I could have a wind beard. Yeah, okay, so I like that. I really like that. So you do your best to help them out. So go ahead and as you're sitting down, go ahead and roll me a knowledge religion check as you're trying to help your guy, Vampsip.
So just a religion check.
Yeah, just a knowledge religion check. Not gonna make it super complicated. Boom. That is 10 over. That is a critical success.
Nice.
So, oh my gosh! You know what though? Like that's awesome for Vampsip, and that's because whatever you're doing, like he is into it. Yozu, like he is coming out and he's carving this symbol. And you know what? I'm gonna make it easy on us, and I'm going to say, especially just given who the Knights of Last Wall were, that he chooses Yomadai, because that was their goddess,
Their default god, yeah.
That was their default goddess or deity. That's who he knows. That's who he already feels a connection to, and so yeah, he's sitting with you. I do find it ironic and almost like a fulfilling prophecy, and I don't know how Sir Hammond will take it, that he's jiving so well with Yozu. Because haven't you tried helping him once before or no?
I don't know that I ever really did. That's why I was like, I don't know how disappointed this kid is because I didn't do a whole lot with him. But
Got you.
but
That's
yeah,
fair.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, he is getting this deep connection. All right, so the morning goes by. Maj is training his ward. Irish is training her ward. Sir Hammond is essentially working with the townspeople to try and convince them to
He's
move
campaigning.
into this dungeon. Campaigning. It is the afternoon phase. We don't have to keep doing it in the same order, but Maj, what do you want to do? What do the rest of you guys want to do?
So Maj sends his little progeny out now that the morning lesson is done to go get a very select amount of components and things that he wants or needs. All while Maj is like, I'm gonna go back to that library and do a little research in the area. They probably have a crap ton of information about this place.
Interesting. I think I think that's an excellent use of a library.
Yeah.
And I mean, we said that it has like all manner of different books.
Yeah.
So it's
in our new settlement. There's a library in our new settlement already.
Mhm.
It's very reasonable to expect that they have books on like geography and maps and stuff like that. So yeah.
But I also imagine that he sees Sir Hammond and Vapsip coming back from there.
Sir Hammond, what brings you to my library?
Oh, we need to prepare this place. You had a brilliant idea in making this a safe haven for these people. My library.
Do any of your people? And he looks over at Vampsip.
No, it's
No.
I think sorry, Arthur.
Oh, Arthur.
Yeah.
Do any of your people know any sort of mining profession? Perhaps you could expand the area and perhaps reclaim some added area, or find some precious gems, jewels, and things to trade while creating a environment more hospitable to your people.
Are you talking about mining out the dungeon?
He is.
Knocking down some dungeon walls?
Yeah, you quite never know what you might find.
I like that. That's clever.
That's really fun.
You know what? Bottle cap.
Bottle
just-
cap. Hey.
Yes!
Oh yeah, hero point. We should all have one hero point. At least. Now you have two.
So, as he's talking about this,
Why don't you come with me? I used to be a quite an accomplished digger.
Yes, I've seen you dig. Yes.
You've seen my little holes?
I'm a big fan of your holes.
No!
They are quite moist and comfortable to sleep in.
I always want to sleep when I'm done with your holes.
So I start talking to him and start discussing, plans or where I would dig while I'm looking through these books and manuscripts and everything in the area. So what would you like me to roll for information on the area while I talk?
He doesn't have his headphones on. He missed the question. Dude, Jester moved on so easily. I was having a hard time too.
I had to storm on.
I apologize.
Continue.
Was it the moist holes or was it just the hole in general?
It was the moist holes. That was what got me.
Such a weird word.
I know.
Moist.
One of us
Coming-
needed to walk away.
Moist. Coming from the little ratkin voice.
So I progressed on to talking to this
What's his name? Arthur.
Arthur about where I would dig and things like that while I'm digging through the library and trying to find information on the area and anything useful. So I asked, what can I roll?
That's a really interesting question. Don't you have like knowledge academic or something?
I do have knowledge academia.
Or profession academia? Lore academia. That feels right because you're navigating a library, you're trying to find information. That feels
Are you sure I can't roll Arcana?
Shut up.
Now, I have something for this. Dubious knowledge. I'm a treasure trove of information. If I try to recall knowledge, a bit of true knowledge or erroneous knowledge, you have to give me two different forms of knowledge. One that might be true or one that might not be true. And I have to play off of it.
Did B say he was taking a step away or did he drop again?
I think he dropped again.
I thought maybe he said he was stepping away. Oh, no, he's back. Okay. But you're not.
But
Continuing.
so dubious
Yes.
knowledge.
Yeah. Okay, so I got to give you your treasure trove, but not all of it comes when you fail. I mean, okay. So here's what I was thinking. I wasn't thinking necessarily this is something you can roll.
Mhm.
Sometimes how Pathfinder does checks, and I think that this is a good way of doing it, is that it's not necessarily like pass or fail. Like you find the information or you don't. Sometimes there are just consequences for failing, but you still get what you want. So, for instance, you can find what you want. However, it takes you a lot longer to look for it, and so you lose your evening phase. Make sense? That would be kind of an example of what I'm thinking of. With that said, you're specifically looking for information on the layout of the area, how to dig, or kind of all the above.
More regarding the so these people had to have dug down into the earth in order to figure it out. So they probably would have done some detailed geographical and land surveys to see where rock and depth and things would be. So there would be some rather good maps, not only of the terrain of the area, but also as far deep as they plan to dig about the surface content.
Oh, right. I love this. Okay, cool. All right. So first off, you get some information about the geography of the area. So let's go ahead and we'll essentially give you like a free survey. Go ahead and roll me a d20, and you tell me what direction you're looking at.
North.
And
Let's go north.
okay, let's go north. Right above the spring, correct? 17. Let me consult my table. Oh my god. Fascinating. All right. This is interesting. This might change everything. Well, not about everything, but all right.
By the way, where is the dungeon that we're planning on settling?
It's on the Hamlet's.
Same hex.
I should put HD.
I don't know what HD is, but my doctor says I got 40 of them. ADHD. ADHD. Or yeah, sorry. Yeah, I fucked that joke all up.
That's why we play Mathfinder.
All right, I'm out. No, I don't do math.
See, that's where we're spoiled playing on Fantasy Grounds. It does all the math for us.
It's true. That's why we use Fantasy Grounds. Okay, so first off, so interesting. You find out that this area to the north of you is barren as well. Now, you don't know why. So go ahead and roll me. Well, actually, let's find out why. Go ahead and roll me another d20.
Another D20? Or
Another d20.
would you like skill?
I'm sorry?
Another D20 or skills? Because I do have a crap ton of skills.
Nice.
Oh, just a straight up d20. Oh my god.
Nat 20, boy.
Attaboy. Look at those rolls.
Too bad that's not during combat.
Okay. Whoever has just any different color, Sir Hammond, will you put something in the hex? Oh dear. To the northernmost highlighted hex.
I will need you to pop the map back up for me, sir. I was on the mine
Oh, that's right.
map. Okay, got it.
Easy. So to be clear, that's the hex I'm talking about.
And what color do you want me to use? I mean, you want me to use the dark green that I have, or?
Yeah, just whatever color. I just need something there to indicate something's there.
Something. Okay. Drawing. Enter drawing mode. something is here.
Yes,
Okay.
the giant cookie has made a reappearance.
As you are looking, Jester, in this like tome of information, specifically about the geography of this area, the ancient Thessalonians talked about a great tower of power that was to the north. Apparently, there was some type of
Like a wizard tower?
like a crazy spellcaster wizard that abided in this tower. No one knows what happened, but the lore indicated that the entirety of the land surrounding the tower is barren. Furthermore, the text also states, and this is where your dubious part comes in, because you're not certain based on what you're reading from the text. It's either that the land is inhabited by all manner of essentially like arcane. You know what? We need creepy music for this. As we're talking.
Is it the beautiful birds chirping?
I
Yeah.
know. This doesn't
Beautiful
fit.
birds chirping works perfect because we're going to go to this tower.
That sounds like something that your character would be interested in.
Oh,
we can
yes.
find out.
Wizard
The part that
Tower.
gets a bit dubious is you're uncertain about whether or not this location, this tower, that the things that are in the barrens are essentially like arcane abominations. There's word of that, or it could be that there's some type of creature that's been unloosed. In fact, it could be even very well that the information that you got about this other barren area that Asgrim explored. Oops. Right here. But it could be that the two are related. In fact, maybe some things are kind of like starting to come into some type of clarity. Now, the part that, again, it could be that there's like arcane abominations, or it could be that there was some type of arcane event that essentially rent the land and made it entirely unusable. Almost like a magical explosion of sorts that killed all the life. Now, you won't know anything further until you explore the area.
Which would make sense why the town doesn't have much food, because they don't have a lot of area to expand, why they haven't grown.
It also explains like why they're right on the cusp of it too. For all you know, this could be a settlement that has existed for a lot longer than you thought. Some type of human settlement that is
Thessalonians are ancient.
Yeah, and the Thessalonians, which you know, they're ancient. They're like the equivalent of the Babylonians, for all intents and purposes, in the Pathfinder universe. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and barren this off as well. There's a lot more barren land than I thought there would be, but holy cow, this is an interesting and awesome storyline we're developing. Can you go ahead and remake your token there? Appreciate it. You know what? We're going to make that one barren too. Just makes sense. All right. So
should I do T for tower?
Yeah, put a T for tower. That fits. So Jester, that is what you discover. Another thing that you discover. Well, you know what? If you want to do another search later on, we can do it. I don't want to give you too much, and that feels like a lot. So
Okay.
that is Jester's afternoon phase. Let's go with whoever wants to go next.
Sir Hammond is hacking and slashing away a bunch of veins and vines and stuff. In our what shall become our home. I'm trying to make it look hospitable so people will feel comfortable with the idea of moving down here.
I feel like Yozu would be helping with that if she got wind that.
Okay. Yeah, and I assume because of Sir Hammond's campaigning that it's
Word is spreading.
Yeah, word is spreading. You would find out it. So we can do essentially your turn at your turns at the same time. You guys are working together to help kind of clear out this dungeon for the people to inhabit, at least in the interim. You don't know if it's a permanent solution,
Right.
but you're trying to find a place to just store these people. Yeah.
We're looking for a baby gate so we can move on. Adventure.
Yeah. Okay. By the way, on the roll to figure out, Jester rolled a d20, so I was like, "There's got to be something sweet that he found."
For sure. Something that he would love too.
Oh
Yeah, now I've got to talk the party into going into the barren area with the giant footprints to a tower that has arcane energy.
Let's
that
travel to this
might-
desolate land.
Guys, I think it would be a great idea to go explore the place where no other life is. Okay, so the two of you, why don't you guys describe to me kind of the actions you're taking in this dungeon to make it more hospitable?
I think I gotta pull my map back out here. I saved it down here. I think for the most part, I'm probably. What do I have in the way of weapons? I have a new falchion, which is pretty sweet, so I can like two-handedly like start just hacking up these little bits of vine as they're shriveling and just doing some yard work in this mine. Just to clear it out, to make it less creepy.
Why don't you go ahead? Okay, and why don't you roll me an attack
Sure.
with your falchion, and we'll see how effective it is. And Yozu, why don't you go ahead and tell me what you're doing to make this mine more hospitable?
Burning sage to make it smell better.
I think she would probably be washing away any blood that was spilled around the area, trying to get rid of the pollen that was dropped by the creepers and whatever else they were.
Sure.
Just trying to wash away all that gunk.
Okay, why don't you go ahead and what do you want to roll to do that? And you're taking a pretty basic task, and I'm essentially saying the DC is pretty low. Like 10.
I have no idea.
Alright. Why don't you roll me a survival check? That sounds
Okay.
right. And if I'm wrong, everybody can take their criticisms and stuff it. Okay, so the
Hey,
two of you
nice
spend
modifier.
the two of you spend a good amount of time. You guys roll the same exact thing.
Yeah.
Literally the same exact thing. You spend a good amount of time trying to make this dungeon more hospitable. Are you getting like townspeople to help you, or are you guys just doing it yourselves?
I think at least Vampsip is helping us out, but yeah, I think I've probably spread enough word that enough people were excited about it that we aren't doing it alone.
Aw, you're so nice, Jester.
He's so nice.
What
Thank
do
you.
you do? What happened?
He gave subs on the channel.
Oh.
And Irish followed. Irish, thank you for following.
I didn't realize I wasn't following. I thought I'd followed a long time ago.
That's okay. And half of everything that this channel makes actually goes to a charity called True Life Orphanage and Outreach in Uganda, Africa. So that's something that I pledged, and I think I have it on my Twitch page somewhere down there. So anyway, just so you know, half of it's going to help an orphanage. Thank
So
you,
wait,
Jeff.
can I do that as a tax write-off now?
I don't know. It's like $2.50. So the two of you begin working really hard on the dungeon to try and make it more hospitable. It's a pretty friggin' big dungeon, so it's going to take a lot of time and a lot of man hours and a lot of people. So you're putting a dent in it, is all I'm saying. And there is the possibility that you get it to a point where you hopefully that they can kind of take over as well. not everything has to be on just you guys, just so you're aware. Okay, it is the evening. A hard day's work, whether it be researching or whether it be exploring or whether it be cleaning. You're getting all of these tasks done. You come back to the hamlet where everybody's kind of like making camp with all of these people. They're happy. Like I said, the hamlet is happy to have you guys there, especially given how you saved some of their townspeople. So they are, that initial reluctance is gone. With that said, a day passes, evening meals are shared, and Sir Hammond, maybe Maj or Yozu, you guys do take stock and realize you guys pretty much only have about 5 days worth of food left for the refugees. Now, it's not a little, it's not a lot, but they're definitely not self-sufficient as of yet. What's going through everybody's minds at the end of the day? Actually, let's do this. You guys are at kind of the center of this hamlet. There's kind of like a large fire burning. How are you guys, like, what are you guys talking about as you are in the middle of this hamlet? I'm certain you guys are, I'm going to assume that you've shared all of your progress. So specifically, I'm thinking about like role-playing forward. We don't have to keep role-playing things that happen in the back. I'm assuming that those have been shared. Role-playing forward, like what next steps do you guys want to take? What's going through your guys' minds? That type of thing. All of you got your meals. You're sitting amongst this fire, and that is where we are.
I think Sir Hammond is telling the townsfolk about the locking mechanism above the dungeon, the mine, like explaining the puzzle that you have to solve to even get in, so that the people are excited about it, like he's kind of like bragging about how cool and secretive it is, but also to so that they know how to get in there. For their own safety. So yeah, he's kind of flexing on it, even though he had nothing to do with solving that puzzle. He's helping everyone know how to get down there.
Okay, how about the rest of you guys?
I think Yozu would be asking around the camp to see if anyone is proficient in hunting. See if they can help sustain food for the town.
So roll me a diplomacy check, because one thing that we discovered earlier on is that the people that have come with you guys aren't like fishermen. They're not like survival type people, but they are. We thought maybe like craftsmen, based on some roles. Like that appeared to be kind of like the some of the folks that you saved. With that said, there's a few people that come forward and they're like, yeah, my dad trained me with a bow growing up. We went hunting for fun. A couple of them come forward and they say, we went fishing. That was something that, our parents got us involved in.
So Yozu would probably suggest maybe setting out a hunting group to go out together so they're not like stranded alone, and to just help each other out in a way of like so they don't have to rely on us bringing them food every day.
Sure. Okay, so you're trying to empower the townspeople, maybe even send them out on an expedition to get food for everyone.
Yeah. The capable ones.
Quit freeloading! Get off your asses!
Do some work for a change.
All right, cool. Why don't we do this? Let's roll. Let's find out how many of these people are somewhat whatever. I'm going to assume a pool of about 20 people. Irish, I'm going to ask... No, I'm going to assume a pool of about 10. Go ahead and roll me a d10. And that is the amount of people that are decently trained. 8. Not bad. All right. So a good chunk of the refugees that are with you, almost about a third, are trained in some capacity or another, or not trained, but maybe they have some type of training. And you're telling them that tomorrow you're going to send them out. You're essentially organizing an expedition in the evening for them to go out tomorrow. Okay,
Yeah.
I like that. I'm going to be the one to roll the survival check for them, though, to find out exactly what they bring back. I like that. Okay, that's a new mechanic for our game. If you guys want to send out an expedition of the refugees to try and do work, that is perfectly fine. I'm going to put 8 as hunter-gatherers. Cool. And we'll find out what happens tomorrow morning. Maj, what are you doing in the evening? Anything in particular?
I figure Maj would have, tossed a scroll, whatever his plans. You guys dig here. This ground is safe. This is what I determined while I was doing my research, kind of thing, to the townspeople. But he would look at his progeny. Did you get my supplies I asked for you? I got some things that I need to work on. So I'd sent him out to go get me about 16 gold worth of material components for 2 items.
He comes back with everything that you need. Just subtract that 16 gold.
All right.
I rolled for him, and he rolled a 16. So, given his modifiers and the like, that is a successful roll.
Good. Now, you're going to sit down with me, and I'm going to show you how to make this pendant and this gray Aeon stone. All right?
So I really don't care about what else is going on over there. I'm more interested in what I can do with this gifted student.
Got you. Yeah, I was going to say, you're pretty much pouring all of your time into helping this kid.
So one of the things that I learned was magical crafting. Yeah, so I got to pick 4 level 2 formulas that I could learn. So I decided 2 of them was going to be an Aeon Stone and a Crying Angel pendant.
Cool.
And I haven't revealed the other 2 yet, so maybe later. But
Angel Panda, that sounds so fucking cool.
And now I'm thinking of Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Oh no! Freezes me.
Weeping angels.
Yeah.
Now that pendant looks exactly like a weeping angel.
Hell yeah.
That is forever canon.
That is so cool.
That's awesome. I'm
But I want to start on the stone because it has a nice, cool effect.
Sure. Okay, so yeah, go ahead and roll me that craft check, and let's see if it happens.
Skills, craft.
Because
right
yeah,
there.
we worked out the mechanics for this the other day for his magical crafting. 12. All right, yeah. You're able
22.
to- You essentially
expert.
you don't rest in the evening. You keep working, and so actually all of you do in your own ways. You guys are just nose to the grindstone, campaigning, organizing people, working on this magic pendant. You just don't stop. And so the day goes. All of you working in the evenings until it's done. You lay your heads on the pillows, fall asleep. And I'm gonna roll for.
And nothing
to see-
happened.
And I'm gonna roll to see if there is a something happens. I imagine, Sir Hammond, you are at some point involved in a watch.
Yeah, sure. That's safe to assume.
And as you're going through this watch, you hear a loud bang in the direction of the dungeon.
Loud bang.
In fact, it wakes up like all the townspeople in the middle of the night.
Wow.
And they're just like, what? Everybody's, kids are kind of crying, freaking out. Wives are sending out their husbands to make certain areas safe. They're staying behind with their kids to make certain they're safe. Maj, I imagine like maybe you're like dozing off as you're working on this pendant, and poof, this loud bang just kind of startles you.
Wait, what?
I
That's my library!
Your library. I don't know. Is everyone accounted for?
Yozu, same with you. You are woken up loud by this loud bang as well.
Okay, so this is like everyone's asleep, sort of thing, right?
Everyone was asleep, and
Yeah.
everyone's like roughly awoken. Like, what?
Yeah.
What the hell is going on?
I think, yeah. I mean, Sir Hammond is, if he's on patrol, I mean, if I'm watching, then I will proceed to at least head that direction to at least investigate what I can see
I think if
and hear.
Yozu's seen him going off on his own, she'd probably get up and follow after making sure
Yeah.
people were safe.
Maj wants to make sure his library's okay.
Maji, your library is in danger.
Huh? No, not the books. They're more important than you.
What?
These books don't believe in God.
Oh, that's terrible.
That's awesome.
That's hilarious. Okay. So yeah, there's a loud bang, and so all three of you make certain everybody's safe. All the townspeople appear to be all accounted for and safe, and the three of you make your way off towards the library or the dungeon.
Yes.
His library.
Yes, his
My library.
His library. Cool. Roll me perception checks as you guys start to draw closer.
Like initiative perception or regular perception?
Initiative.
Oh, wow.
Perception.
Can I re-roll it?
I'm sorry.
Initiative?
I'm sorry.
Regular,
Not initiative. Regular roll perception. Now I'm not looking at the map currently, so you
Sure.
will have to help me and tell me what you guys.
22.
16.
Well, I don't know what map
16.
we should be looking at. We should tell you what now? I
Just
think Sir
give
Hammond will
me-
be in the lead in general, marching order.
Sir Hammond got a 10.
Sir Hammond got it. Okay, yeah. So Sir Hammond, who's in front, doesn't know what's going on. Maj, you're kind of peering out, and this makes sense because you have dark vision because you're a rat, and you're able to kind of see in the distance. I know what's going on. This is perfect. I figured it out.
Sir Hammond knows what's going on too with this 10.
You, are thinking about this dungeon area, and you're making your way off, and part of the loud cracks that you hear, Maj, why can't I? Oh, it's because I'm opening it literally for this. God dang it. You see trees in the distance, even in the dark, crashing, and the bangs continue as a result. You don't know what is doing it, but you can see large trees in the distance, like cracking and falling over like they're play toys.
All right.
Guys.
You see Maj getting close down to the ground, grabbing both of you.
Hold up. If you... Well, you all might not be able to see, but through those trees, there's something coming the direction that we're walking. We have to be very careful, or else this beast might know we're here and devour everybody.
Can you see what it is?
Hold up. Let me ask the GM what I have to roll.
So as you're beginning to look closer, Go ahead and roll me. And actually, you know what? Yozu would be able to have seen the trees falling as well. Both
dear.
of you roll me a perception check as you guys are attempting to kind of discern what is actually ahead of you.
26.
Trees.
19.
I want to remind you guys of something. Because I did say at the very top of this, I am not going to be pulling any punches. I also said, like, an active area. Or not an active area. Like when you're playing a game, a video game, right? There's a pretty simple level progression of enemies. It's like, oh, okay, I fight the level 1s, and now I can fight the level 2s, and I can fight the level 3s. And you guys know that I'll throw things at you that are harder. You also know from being level 1, and Brandon is intimately familiar, that I am not afraid to throw a ridiculously hard encounter, one that maybe sometimes you guys should have to run away from. I do want to remind you of that in this moment.
So we fight it.
So sometimes
We fight it.
sometimes the objectives, like a real life situation, aren't to just kill something. You can make that decision on your own, whatever you so decide to do. I'm going to roll a d20, and we're going to find out what's going on. Okay.
He's gonna throw a level 40 thing at us.
I've only thrown anything higher than a level 20 against a party that was 16 or higher. So that just so you're aware.
I'm so nervous.
Or against Buck by himself.
Buck came here to. Oh, never mind.
Buck,
Buck's
I
dead.
came here to die.
Okay, this makes sense. I got myself an idea for what's about to happen. As you're looking into the distance, Jester, and I'm gonna pretty much narrate, and then you guys can decide to me what you are going to do. You look through the trees, and you realize that, yes, there is a tree that was fallen over, but this tree has also stood back up, and it appears to be walking towards the hamlet.
Oh, good.
Oh, fuck.
Fireball!
Do you have Fireball? And is
No,
that
but
what
I
you'd
got-
like to do?
It's got level 1 spells.
No, but I do have Burning Touch, or Burning Hands.
Yeah, you can.
Which is,
That is what you'd
yeah,
like to do.
it's a short range spell too.
Jump on the back of a tree.
This is not probably very entertaining for the people who are watching because I'm just going through my files. It's all just...
As a player, I enjoy watching your stream.
Get the hell out of there. Get the hell out of there.
Well, you were talking about all the subs and stuff. I wanted to see what's
I'm
going
gonna
on.
minimize.
No. Yeah, you minimize, you cheater.
I
You big
minimize.
cheater face.
I'm in there putting your
I
views
don't
up.
know what benefit I
The
could
only-
possibly gain from seeing what you're pulling up.
The only thing I've got going is the chat because I got to make sure nobody said.
I know what's going to kill me before the rest of you know what's going to kill me. Like, zero
All right,
benefit.
so here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and first I'm gonna put a grid on this. So yeah, guys, for those who are watching, my apologies. It takes me a little bit long because we're doing all of this kind of like on the fly. Even I, as the GM, don't know what's coming up, and part of that is I just think I wanted to experiment with it. I thought it would be fun, just using dice rolls and stuff like that, because it also helps me to be. I mean, not that I'm unengaged, but it helps me to be a lot more engaged because I can. It's just interesting is all I can say, because I'm discovering all of this at the same time they are, which is kind of fun. And I'm doing everything. No, don't look at that! Don't look at that!
I can't see it. I have it so small I can't see.
Let's pretend I did not freak out.
Huh?
Awesome.
Did you throw something up and we weren't supposed to see it and you took it away?
It's like Charlie Day when he's doing his music, and It's Always Sunny, and he's like, "Stop looking at me! Stop looking!" What's a curtain to hide behind?
I had a friend when in junior high when we played. I was on the tennis team, and there was one guy who every day when we got out of our
He
regular
likes
clothes,
playing with fuzzy balls.
exactly every day when we got into our like PE clothes, he would just stand in the corner as he pulled his pants down. He'd say, "Don't look at me." And so my brother and I, who shared a room as teenagers growing up, we would say the same thing every day when we were getting dressed. "Don't look at me."
Amazing. Awesome.
Okay, holy moly.
Okay.
Wow.
So,
This is happening.
you guys see this giant awakened.
And Asgrim is not with us.
huge- And Asgrim's not with you. There is a huge living tree, which appears to be walking towards
It might be
the
friendly.
family. Now, what you do know is that it's big and it's coming.
I know that much.
And you guys tell me how you would like to approach this.
Jester, you're muted.
I said phrasing for one because you said it's big and it's coming, but
It's coming for your holes.
You know what? This thing has another 100 hit points. This thing has another 100 hit
Oh
points.
no, we're definitely
say?
running away.
but since I saw this thing so well out because of my dark vision and that nice 19 plus 7, I want to take the moment to try to determine what this thing is, because I'm sure in those books I glanced over something.
Surely you're not out of excellent rolls now.
Nope.
So you're trying to figure out exactly what this thing is.
To identify it.
Yep, identification.
Okay, roll me knowledge nature.
Nature.
I'm sorry,
Okay.
it's a giant fucking walking tree.
Oh my god,
God.
Jester.
God damn it.
Unstoppable tonight.
I just wish I... It is what is known as an awakened tree. They are guardians of the forest. You know that they're representatives of other trees. I know, right? Super epic rolls, Blue. You know that these creatures consider themselves as almost parents and shepherds of trees rather than their gardeners. Consequently, they tend to be slow and methodical. However, you know that if forced into a fight, they can be terrifyingly quick. Yozu, as you begin to kind of figure out what this is, it all kind of comes and clicks together for you, especially being a cleric of Gozra. Awakened trees are really not fans of people cutting down trees. It just so happens that the hamlet you are in
They're all
is
lumberjacks.
a hamlet of...
Jesus Christ.
They are not fans of those who threaten their realm.
Awesome.
It is slowly walking towards the hamlet.
Golly.
What do you do?
So, with all that that nat 20, how much information can I gain?
Yeah, can you get like a CR? This monster, for example.
I mean, nat 20.
Nat 20.
Screw
Just copy and paste the stat block for us.
Yep.
Shut up. Okay, I'll tell you this much. The awakened trees are neutral. They are huge living trees. They can't speak aside from arboreal, which is like a tree language. They have a very high AC. They have weaknesses to axes and fire. They have resistances to bludgeoning and piercing. You know that this thing has great reach and can attack things that are far away from it. You know that it will hurt you if it is able to do such, get in close. It's not something that is easily taken
Destroyed.
down.
Guys,
Oh,
guys, I think I have an idea.
Would Yozu be hurt? I think Yozu's still hurt.
no, Yozu would not be hurt after 2 days of rest. Yeah, I got rid of my. Yeah,
Thank you.
You're all good.
I think I have an idea. This thing hates our hamlet because it's a tree. Okay? We need to slow this down while the townspeople plants a bunch of trees as fast as they can. Just every acorn, every pine cone, everything. This tree needs to see them planting more trees.
Everyone wake up! Grab a pine cone!
I would
Oh my god!
quickly. We need to get the townspeople to work.
Is this actually what's happening? Is this actually what's happening? I just want to make certain.
Well, Yozu is the cleric of Gozri. Maybe she has an idea.
Okay.
But that's I think that's how Sir Hammond reacts. Is seeds? Did you have any seeds?
It's amazing.
I don't think planting more trees will stop this entity.
But could it hurt?
It could hurt us. It could hurt the townspeople.
So we need to lure it away? Or we need to get the townspeople into the shelter?
Is the tree in the way of the mine? Could we is there a way we could sneak around the tree?
It's coming! It's coming! Closer!
Oh my god, this is
The
amazing.
tree walks. Hammond is freaked out. He's definitely out of his element here. Also, he innately realizes this isn't an evil entity. It's like a neutral entity. So it's weird to be terrified of something that's not like a fucking demon or undead monster. It's off-putting for Sir Hammond. Doesn't know how to handle it.
I'm going to keep moving this thing closer until you guys give me a definitive thing that you're going to do. And if it gets into within range,
I
it's
asked if we could see a way, if there was a way around the tree to get into
Yeah,
the
where are we in proximity to the
cave
mine,
or the
the
dungeon?
cave thing? Yeah,
It's between you and the dungeon.
of course it is.
So do you think there would be a way we could sneak around it?
You can
Through the
absolutely
barrens?
try. Yeah, there's lots of trees here that you can try and sneak through. If you're talking about just getting the towns evacuating?
Yeah.
You can go back. You can go into the barrens. You can go to the right. All kinds of great options, guys.
Seeds! Seeds! Sir Hammond runs back to the town screaming, seeds!
So, Maj knows that this creature is not nefarious.
I just imagine him taking his pendant to your Yomadai or whatever, just throwing it off to the side and going, Gozra! I worship you now!
That's kind of how he feels.
Oh my god.
But this.
Can we have control of our tokens?
Oh, yes.
His
yes,
goddess
I
is.
gave you the ability to.
Yeah, Iomade, she's not against trees. I mean, this thing isn't evil. He has no powers against it. And so he really feels like, we could appease it. Yozu, convince it that we will plant more trees.
Maj, you're getting closer to it.
I cannot talk to trees.
I'm calculating my steps right now. I am.
Guys,
Here goes the tank wizard again.
guys. We need to slow its approach while somebody goes back and gets the town to safety at least. I'm going to try to reason with this.
And I'm assuming this creature can see us because I'm stepping forward. So Maj, with the arms out, starts taking slow, calculated steps to see if
It
this.
does not see you because
Oh,
it rolled
no.
a natural 1 on its perception
Wow.
check.
Oh.
Unless you're telling me you're like specifically trying to be seen.
Hey.
Right now, Maj is walking up to it with arms outstretched, taking very cautious steps to see if it looks like it's about ready to attack. So I figure with the good perception and the good nature check, I can at least discern if it will attack me slowly approaching with arms outstretched. And
Takes a
Maj
second.
is trying every language he knows.
You try every language you know, nothing is really getting through. As you take a step forward, this
dear.
thing does take a step, and it kind of like slows. So here, this is the whole situation, just so we all understand what's going on. Giant tree, a huge, over 25 feet tall, is coming up to this little rat person who's 3 feet tall, standing right in front of it. You can picture it like the quake of the ground. You can feel the rumble from its steps as it's getting closer to all of you, right? You can hear the creaking of all of its branches. Maybe like the wind going through the entirety of the forest. The crisp chill in the air hitting your face. Sir Hammond in the back, the clanking of his armor as he's running back to the town and just yelling, "Seeds! Seeds!" Yozu standing there, I don't know, is she just dumbfounded? Is she
He's just kind of, yeah, just kind of like watching, holding a symbol.
So, does the
Praying.
tree notice me yet?
The tree absolutely notices you. And as it draws closer, it takes its final step. One
my
last
gosh.
rumble in the ground, you can feel it as it stands there, and it's just looking down at you. And
Maj, when it's looking at him, will drop down to his knees, take up a pile of dirt, and find the closest thing that resembles a seed and put into it. And then take a little bit of his water from the flask and pour over it.
roll me a diplomacy check.
Sir Hammond is in the background, pollinating a flower with his finger, just like finger banging flowers, trying to like help Mother Nature along the way.
All right.
You-
roll
you-
me-
Can I roll a nature check?
I'm gonna let you. Well, you're specifically trying to do something diplomatic, so I roll a diplomacy check. But I'm gonna give you a +3 to it.
All right, type 3 of the modifier box.
But I've only got a +1 to it because
If Yozu sees what he's doing to try and communicate with the tree, could she slowly come up holding the symbol
Like
and
aid.
help him?
Sure. I'll allow it. Yeah. So go ahead and roll me a. You know what? Specifically because you're a cleric of Gozer, why don't you roll me a knowledge religion check?
Yo.
Yeah, you begin to assist Maj as he is working on this mound, just furiously trying to plant a seed. Sir Hammond at the back, finger banging a flower.
I could just imagine it in my head. Like, I'm so laughing.
I know, it's amazing. As all of this is going on, I imagine like the tree you can imagine it just like standing up very strong and regally, and it almost like slowly crouches down into a ball, almost like a child would, like squatting with their feet on the ground, just like observing what's going on. It does not appear to be hostile to you. The tree, let's see here. Oh man, I wish it was smarter, but it is wise. The tree kind of like looks around at its surroundings, filled with like flora to the max. And it's kind of like with one of its like root tendrils, kind of like slowly, it's not in an aggressive way, kind of like goes out to where it sees like a fallen branch on the ground. And it kind of like curls its tendril around the branch and kind of like brings it up towards one of the trees that are there. And it makes a motion like it's chopping it down. And then it looks at you all, and it just like shakes its head no, just ever so slowly. And then it takes that same limb and kind of like brings it up to where its neck would be and just goes.
That's awesome.
Before dropping the branch on the ground and then just like standing up tall as can be at its like full imposing height.
Okay. Maj, looking at this display, knows exactly why he's upset now. And Maj, in the dirt, draws a picture of, well, a basic layout of the town and where they were cutting down trees and where their farms are. And while making the chopping motion at the trees, he also points down to the dirt and points to the fields and points to where the orchards are and everything that they've been growing. Because we fought in an orchard with the wolves.
Let's see. That's the case. That is a very interesting thing that I did not even think of.
You see, we may be
just-
tearing down your woods, but we're replacing it with invasive species.
See?
I think
Orchards.
I think Yozu watching them do like the layout of the town will pick up, I don't know, some little rocks or something, and, like kind of place a bunch of them like in rows where the cut down trees were and cover them with dirt as if to symbolize we will replant.
Let me roll a wisdom check on this thing to see if it can fully grasp what you guys are saying, because you're giving it a lot of details. And this thing does not have a great intelligence. So I think that's a fair way of approaching this. And I'm just going to say...
Guys.
I'm going to see...
You did
10
say that these things are very slow and methodical and think out everything well planned.
They consider themselves more like shepherds of trees rather than their gardeners. Well, they are, they're slow and methodical. Okay, let's go ahead and roll this d20. Let's leave it up to the dice, because it's always fun to leave it up to the dice. Here we go.
I want to give this tree a modifier with one of my hero points.
Okay. What would you like Oh, you want me to give like plus towards it successfully understanding what's going on?
Yes, because both me and Yozu are trying to depict these things for the tree, and we're using images to help it.
Okay.
So I'd like my hero point to be a modifier on his wisdom.
Okay. I will double his wisdom bonus of 1.
Just over there finger fucking the flower.
You're so gross.
I'm helping. I'm helping.
Alright, so
Oh my god. Okay, so total with modifiers. I set the DC at a pretty decent amount, and it is total adjusted a 24. Wow. So it successfully understands what you're trying to say.
Picks up
And
what you're putting down.
So as it stands up, and as it kind of like looks at, it kind of like slowly turns its head towards the lumber settlement, the hamlet, and it kind of like cocks its head to the side, trying to understand. And you can see that it's like thinking. Doesn't look like it's made a decision yet. And it probably dawns on you that had this been Asgarim or Sir Hammond taking the lead, this would have gone very differently, because the population of the settlement was predominantly humans. So the fact that Maj and Yozu were taking the lead,
Wow.
is entirely different.
A little more in touch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it looks, and it grabs that same branch that it had picked up earlier, like ensorceling it in its timber, like in its roots, and it does that same like striking motion, like with an axe again, like on another tree, and then it just shakes its head, no, like no, and it drops it. And then something kind of terrifying happens as it, let's see here. Go ahead and everybody roll me a perception check. I really hope this works, because I think it'll be just super fun.
Hey.
hold up, let me get the perception.
I'm pollinating. That's not how plants mate. Okay, so this guy has a +5, so that is a total of a 23. Yozu and Maj, here's what you guys see. The tree steps into this, like, grove. And for all intents and purposes, you just cannot see it anymore. It just disappears. Something that large probably freaks you out, that it just like melds into everything else.
Wow.
Sir Hammond.
Finger fucking a flower.
Finger fucking a flower can briefly see like this creature. But then something a little bit more terrifying happens as you kind of look around. Look around and you see, oh, hold on. That it wasn't just one.
Oh dear.
That there were, you can see the outlines of these things.
Forest, like, made of them.
All throughout the forest, like ever so, like, just kind of like a regular tree caught in the wind, kind of like slowly moving. And you realize it wasn't just this one.
Right. There are more of them. Do the dirt thing again.
Now they're not doing
What?
anything.
Okay.
What? What? The dirt thing?
The dirt thing. There are more of them. I can't tell if they're angry at us or not.
And for a brief moment, while you saw them, maybe you look towards your friends or not, they're just gone. Like you You miss the outline. You miss everything. Like for whatever reason, like
They like meld into the forest.
it just looks like a bunch of trees.
I just got goosebumps, dude. That's so cool.
That's pretty cool.
I am glad Maj didn't die.
Yeah. That was pretty risky.
Why does the mouse have to be so brave?
I feel like that's a story.
Ask Aesop.
It is. What? How do you proceed? For all intents and purposes, it does not appear like they're there anymore.
I think what Yozu would do as soon as they disappear, she would turn to Maj and give her like a slight nod of the head and smile softly.
Did we almost get crushed?
Almost. But it didn't happen.
Maj is gonna walk forward and find that stick that tree had in his hand.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just gonna take it with him.
All right.
Let's burn
think-
it.
No. I think we should leave and tell the town they need to go into mining and not tree.
I think you're right.
What? Chopping.
Yes.
I agree.
Yes.
They,
No more.
They
No
cannot.
more. No more lumber. Just fuck the rocks now, right?
Yes. Yes. Yeah, they need to go into the moist, wet hole and dig around a little bit.
Yes.
Maybe they can find that nice spot that makes everything go even.
I want to gather a group of people in the morning. Find seeds. And plant them.
Oh, yes. Yes, that is a good idea. They must take very good care of this forest. Yeah, we should go before the trees come back.
I agree.
And the town. We must tell the town.
Yes. Yes. We'll tell them what happened here.
You make your
He's
way.
pawing all over
back.
his finger.
By the way, I don't think that was helping. I think that was very rude in their culture.
This is the bird and the bees. Us being both birds
You're
and
walking
bees.
away.
I
walking.
think you insulted the man's mother.
I imagine like you're walking away and like a small rock comes like hits Sir Hammond like in the back, and he looks behind and there's just nothing there. So you make your way back to the hamlet, and everybody is still up on edge. It's been a pretty crazy last 2 nights, and the loud banging. They don't know what happened. Shut up.
Sorry.
Side note, I was playing Atlas the other day, and I was having this serious conversation with this guy, and we were talking about these different things and plans. This one guy's like, if you'll excuse me, where's your bathroom? And he goes up to the top. We're having this serious conversation, and then all of a sudden I just hear just totally ruined the mood.
He
and I
just
cracked
poops on
up,
Mike?
and I-
It's so
it's
so funny when that happens in serious moments.
yeah, it's just an Atlas mechanic. You can actually poop with your character.
So good.
So yeah,
So funny.
it's hilarious.
My character just shits on
We should
every
incorporate
day.
that into Pathfinder because that's why my mic was off earlier. Or my camera was off while I was peeing. Just can't bring the camera with me next
No,
time.
we don't need to incorporate that. No. All right, you guys make your way back to the hamlet, and everybody's still on edge. Mothers with their kids, townspeople having axes in hands. They're lumberjacks. That's what they defend themselves with.
Maj runs up and quickly grabs one of those axes.
Okay, so yeah, like they're kind of like taken aback, like What happened? What is going on?
You guys need to stop chopping trees.
I'm sorry. That is our livelihood. We cannot just stop chopping. Listen, we are grateful to you, but if we stop doing that, what are we going to have left?
You need to plant trees. Trust me. Maybe Sir Hammond can fix lots of trees.
Slowly grab the axe and take it away.
So you do it as well, Sir Hammond.
Yeah.
No, he took the axe from me, I
I'm
think.
taking the axe, slowly taking the axe away, being like, no more of this. A pickaxe will do nicely.
What will we build our homes with? What will we build anything with? All we know is lumber.
Stone. That library is filled with the knowledge of ancient civilizations. You can learn to use the stone. These creatures were 25 feet tall. And had we not told them that you would just plant trees rather than chop them down, your city would have been destroyed.
We do plant trees. We have to reforest the area.
Plant more. Lots of trees. Lots of walking trees.
You just see Maji like,
These. Sir Hammond.
So this is a tall order. You are essentially trying to convince lumberjacks, whose parents were probably lumberjacks, and their parents before them, to essentially give up an entire way of life. So this is a hard ask, and it's going to be a hard roll. Who's talking? Who's rolling? What's going on?
Maj is trying to push Sir Hammond to the front of this while
I
he
think
is
Sir Hammond
terrified.
definitely wants to help with this. And it's not even... I think Maji was fairly successful in trying to convince the tree folk that, like, they're also kind of helping. And so Sir Hammond isn't thinking, like, okay, not that we can never cut down another tree, but that we must make sure that for every tree we chop down, we plant 2 more, sort of situation. This is what my ask. Seeds! This is my ask. That we make sure that we're planting as many, if not more, than we're cutting down.
All right. Well, why don't you roll?
But the chopping and the stick, and he holds out the stick.
Yeah.
But
So Maj is actually going to oppose Sir Hammond on this. Maj is scared to death of these giant trees, and he wants these miners, or these lumberjacks to turn into miners.
So, in what way are you opposing him? Because I thought that you and Sir Hammond were on the same page.
Yeah, well, it feels like a contested skill now. Like,
Well, no, I'm not contesting him. I'm trying to persuade as many of the lumberjacks to shift over to
mining instead of lumber.
mining
Instead of,
with
lumber.
with my account, and perhaps maybe even relocate to the mines with.
I think Yozu would be on the side with Maji.
Like they're not safe if they chop down any more trees, is what Maj is thinking.
Sure. All right. So again, this is a hard ask. So roll me a diplomacy check. Who's rolling the check? Who's doing the main bulk of talking and convincing to the population? I'm going to set the DC high. The DC is going to be 18.
Yeah. I mean, I get a +5 to diplomacy. I just, I guess Sir Hammond will be convinced that this is what we ought to do, is just leave the trees alone. The rocks seem way more chill. These trees seem really pissed.
But Maj, before he goes on with the plan, wants to describe in detail his accountings of these
What
tree
we saw.
creatures.
Sure. Just communicate to them the danger of what almost went down tonight.
And how many they could have been, and that they just disappeared.
Yeah.
Sure. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Yozu and Maj, I want you both to roll me diplomacy checks. You are assisting Sir Hammond. If you succeed, you will get a plus. He will get an additional +2 for each cumulative success.
Ooh.
All right, that is a 20, so I'll give her. Yozu gets a +4. I'm going to say how Maj, you are essentially like incoherent in how you're trying to communicate your fear. Yeah, like you're too freaked out, and so like they're just it's not hitting home. Makes sense?
It makes sense because a rat that's all of 3 foot tall was standing up against a 25-foot giant.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The thing is what at least 8 times taller than you. It'd take 8 Majes. Yeah, it's ridiculous. But Yozu is able to communicate doubly as well. So that'll be a +4 on this roll. So it's not a gimme.
No, not at all.
But this is a cumulative +9.
All right, I'm gonna do. I'm gonna add the 4 to my modifier. Right.
Yep.
So it'll be included in this roll. Hey.
The people look at you, and they kind of like look at each other like, are we really considering this? This is all we've ever known.
Yeah.
And I imagine like maybe one of the town leaders takes like a big deep breath, like just like sigh out, and he like shakes his head, and you can see him like drop the axe from his hand, and he looks at you and he says, "You've saved our people. And you've saved our people the second time. You have survived whatever happened to Vigil. So we will trust you on this."
Thank you.
And I imagine the town.
Yeah. Sir Hammond looks at Yozu, and Maji just kind of like nodding, like, "Thank you."
Maj will actually just drop down to the ground. And he is right now holding onto that stick, like
That little stick.
Yeah. Absolutely freaked out. The rest of the day goes by. Or I'm sorry, the rest of you eventually are all able to get back to sleep, although I'm certain that it's probably not easy. But some amount of peace pervades, and you're eventually all able to get some sleep and to get some rest for the evening. You wake up in the next morning. So here is the situation, just so we're all on the same page about what is going on. This is a story that we developed just organically, and I love it.
So neat.
I know you guys are have all these refugees in tow, and you're on the way from Vigil, which has fallen, and you're making your way north into the lands surrounding Vigil. You make your way to this hamlet, save their people from these wolves that have been attacking, only to find out that it led to something much more nefarious, a dungeon almost right underneath their feet. You kill the creature that is there, and decide that you're going to make this at least a temporary shelter, a home. And you save these people that were once hostile to you, outright racist towards Maj, and you've won their trust. And you save them from oblivion yet again from these trees that are just imposing and standing there and ready to decimate. Sleep comes. Maybe not necessarily easily, but it eventually comes. And you rest, and you wake up the next morning. And I don't think you guys used even any spells that day, but just in the interest of doing another overnight rest, you wake up to a new day. There is a bunch of people in this hamlet who you've convinced to stop being lumberjacks, which is the only trade that they've ever known, in exchange for something else, because of the possibility of oblivion with these living trees that are living in the forest. I imagine you wake up the next day and the sun comes shining through, something which I'm certain Yozu appreciates, just another symbol of Gozra, just the nature that is just altogether prevalent in this place. And I imagine all of you wake up and you maybe take a side eye towards the forest that's not too terribly far away, and you can still see like the branches like ever so waving in the winds, just knowing what is right there. It is a new day. You have 5 days of food left. The expedition, let's go ahead and resolve that first. They are going to head on out into the area surrounding to see if they can attempt to find some food for the refugees. There is 8 of them. Okay, that was their morning phase. It is when they come back in the evening, we'll discuss the results of what happened there. It is a new day. What do you guys want to do in your morning phase?
Yozu would go around town and gather up as many people as she could to replant a bunch of trees.
Sure. Go ahead and roll me a diplomacy check, because you're trying to convince people to come and do this with you. It's not going to be a super high DC after what happened last night. But generally 10 is the lowest I go. Yeah. A lot of people, here's how it manifests. People are so scared about what happened last night that they're kind of afraid to leave their homes. It's not that they're outright saying no. It's just that they are afraid of what lies in the forest.
Okay, but since no one wanted to join, she would do it alone. Or with the squire or whatever.
Sure. Yeah. You take your Vampsip, your kind of protege, and bring him out there. And you know what? Why don't you give me a knowledge? I imagine you're walking out into the forest, looking for pine cones, looking for whatever you can to plant. And Vampsip at some point looks at you and just says, "Why are we doing this? Nobody else is."
We are given back from those that have given. It's a sign of respect for nature.
How does this have to do with the divine at all?
It may not, with whoever you decide. But for me, this is how I connect.
Roll me a knowledge, religion, or not religion, just roll me a religion check, and let's see if that has any bearing on Vampsip. 15 is the DC. Oh, wow, my God, you're wrecking it. That's exceeding the DC by 10. So, Vampsip, I don't want to say he looks cowed. He looks, he doesn't look humiliated. He looks like he's learned something deep about the connection to the world, about the connection to the divine.
Humbled?
Humbled. Yeah, perfect. Looks humbled. And he begins looking for seeds alongside of you, and assists you the entire morning in replanting a broken forest. How about you, Maj or Sir Hammond? Morning phase.
Would you like to go?
Sure. I think Sir Hammond is interested in leading the people in moving their shit into the dungeon. I was thinking, we need to build beds out of wood. No, we'll just carry the stuff that we have and we'll move. We got to start moving things into the dungeon.
Okay, so you're cleaning is kind of on the back burner. You're essentially we're done kind of squatting in this hamlet.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you doing? I'm assuming a diplomacy check. Because
I think so. I think that's generally what I'm doing, and I'm just trying to convince people to do it themselves. Because Sir Hammond does want to do the work. He's kind of a workhorse, but at the same time, he feels like the people need to take responsibility for their own shiz, right? So
Sure.
I'm trying to convince them to start packing.
It was on that 18.
I know.
Here's how it manifests. You're able to actually bring some people towards the entrance of the dungeon. They actually listen to you. But then they look inside and they see that it's still, I'm like, there's like, there's still like bodies and vines and all kinds of shit.
Fair.
And they're just like, are you serious? And maybe like start stammering, trying to convince them or something. And they're just like, just go live back at the hamlet. Okay. Not
for long. Not for long.
Not super successful.
No.
How about you, Maj?
Very plainly, Maj is going back to the library.
Okay.
He's taking his protege, and he's telling his protege, work on your magic while I try to find books on mining and stone cutting and jeweling and all those that could assist these people in a new lifestyle.
Okay.
And perhaps
so
maybe I will also attempt to maybe grab some of the more educated looking people from the town to go with us to also look and try to learn.
Okay, so you're treating this as almost like teacher Maj, as you're trying to help instruct these people and like a new way of life.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. So people are already on board. That happened last night. So why don't you go ahead and roll me a knowledge academic check to see how successful you are in teaching, or not knowledge. Lore academic. I feel like that's applicable here because you're trying to teach them. Yeah, a bunch of people come and they start. You're able to find tomes, and there's a whole group of people that want to be like miners. After the experience of last night, they are like, let's do this. And I mean, there's not most people would think you just got to pick up a pickaxe and go. But you're able to find some very decent texts and tomes from people about what they actually need to, like maybe techniques or different veins and different things to look for. It's actually proving to be very fruitful for those people as they're looking to turn their lives around.
Now, while I was doing all this, I did say for my for Jedral to practice his magic. So I imagine I put him on the ledge looking over the water.
Try to do your casting over the water to see how it conducts through the water.
So here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say that because your hands are probably pretty full with these townspeople. Normally Jedral, his DC to help him learn is a 10. I'm going to increase it because he's mostly self-study. Like you're trying to push him into a self-study mode.
Yes.
So I'm going to say DC like 16 is what you need to do on a knowledge academic check.
Knowledge academic. Okay.
I'm sorry, Knowledge Arcana, or just Arcana.
Arcana. Okay.
I'm getting my Pathfinder 1 and my Pathfinder 2 confused. My God, natural
Jeez,
20,
dude.
30.
What's that, like, free today?
Unbelievable.
I think that is 3.
Can I get a hat trick?
Yeah. So yeah, Jedral, self-setting is exactly what he needed. You pointed him in the direction, and he's like utilizes the current of the water to move the electricity, and he is very close to learning electric arc within the span of almost a week. Like we said, he's a savant, so man, he's almost there. Morning phase is over, and it is the afternoon phase of this particular day. The townspeople have learned. Yozu has been out planting trees. Sir Hammond, unfortunately, both of you guys actually met some type of a failure in that either people weren't listening. Both of it. People just weren't having it. So what are you guys going to do now with this afternoon phase?
I think Sir Hammond will angrily resume just cleaning the area to make it more hospitable. Just like an angry fine, fucking clean this over here. Just trying to make it look nicer. Like, you gotta make it look nice. People are so ungrateful. Just try to clean it now.
Are you trying to convince people to help you clean, or are you just doing it yourself?
He's done trying to convince people. He's just doing it on his own.
He's mad. Okay, all right. Roll me maybe like a survival check just to see how.
Oh no, I was sure of survival.
Survival.
Hey.
18. Yeah, you get the front area is almost entirely cleaned up. You are on a tear, fueled by anger and rage.
It's frustration at these ungrateful people.
Frustration at these ungrateful people.
Yeah.
Blue said that Jedral is a prodigy, and it's true.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Maj and Yozu, what are you guys doing for your afternoon phase?
I think of what I want to do.
That's fine. If Maj is ready, he can do that while you continue to think.
So, Maj being in the library where he feels at home is going to continue doing more research. But with all these books and things that the townspeople found, he wants to look to the people that were studying with him. Be like, which one of these people be the best one to put in charge? Who seems to be respected and intelligent enough to take on this task? Who can disseminate the knowledge to the best of his ability? So I would like to do a social to try and, while I'm doing research with them and teaching them from the books, because half these books are probably in a language they don't understand.
It's true.
I'd like to roll a society to see who I think would be best to lead the mining operations.
That's fine. Go ahead and roll me a society check. We'll find out what happens.
17.
17. Okay, that's not bad. Okay. You're able to find somebody, and it's one of the original townspeople. In fact, what makes sense and it comes to you is the town leader. He was the one that kind of led the charge last night. That was like, all right, this is a change that we need to make. You see that people already look to him as a leader, especially these townspeople.
Mm-hmm.
However, this was also the guy that was kind of racist to you when you first came. He seems a lot more humbled now. With that said, that is who it is.
All right.
And let me get you a name. Let's get a name. We'll call him. Let's look up.
Do you have a name?
Some names. Do I have a name?
No, we don't have a name for him.
We don't have a name for this guy yet. So we need to come up with a name for it. His name is Tin Keck.
Tin Keck. So Tin Cup.
You would put that in the chat so I could spell it in my notes.
No, I like this one better. Let's do text.
Oh.
Texier. Okay. Now, while I was doing all this, I was actually reading these books along with them and showing them. So I want to see if while I was figuring out who the best person to lead, if I found any more appropriate information that would even lead them in a further right direction. Perhaps somebody found a book about these beings outside, or perhaps somebody found a book about
which beings are you referring to?
the trees that almost murked me. Or perhaps somebody found a book about maintaining balance, or
In the
usage.
library.
Yeah, or usages for construction of structures using stone. I just want to find books to point out to this now established leader.
So, the hard part about all of this, and you kind of already mentioned it yourself, is that none of these books are in common.
Mm.
So, assuming that some of these people can read and write, which is also kind of a far cry, given that it's a small hamlet.
Picture books?
There's not.
It's IKEA. It's all IKEA manuals.
Yeah, there's not a lot. I mean, these people were born with an axe in their hand and taught how to cut wood, and that was pretty much it.
Mm-hmm.
So he's more than willing to help lead the operation, but it's still very clear that they're going to need like your tutelage. Now, if you want to try and send them on to begin like expanding the dungeon, you're more than welcome to, or searching for ore or any of that. That's all very doable. But again, they're still relatively new to this profession.
Yes, I don't want them to start mining yet. All right.
Good, sir. I know we've had our differences, but thank you for leading your people to a brighter future. That they will not get smashed by giant trees.
He looks at you kind of and like nods slowly. Doesn't really say anything.
While I try to translate some of these books to a language that you may understand, would you do me the kindness to perhaps take these fine people of your town and explore this potential new home or way of life? And perhaps maybe clean on the way. Get things prepped and ready for your movement or your activities in here, because as you can see in these books, if a mine is unsafe, well, injuries could abound.
We can do that.
Thank you, good sir. And I will keep working on this.
Cool. You send out an expedition of these miners. And, you know what? Speaking of which, I need to do the expedition that's hunting as well. So you send out an expedition of the miners, and we'll find out some information in the evening phase about what happened to them.
While all that was going on, would I be able to, as Yozu, donate some gold towards miners' tools?
So yes, and so here's the issue.
Or help them make some?
Yeah, if you'd like to try and help them craft some, absolutely. You can help them like craft, lanterns or pickaxes, stuff like that. Keep in mind, they're entirely unsuited for this new way of life.
Yeah.
They have axes. They've got, they're used to being outside. They don't really have to worry about having lanterns. They don't need to worry about black lung and shit like that. They're entirely unequipped. So yes, if you'd like to do that, to kind of help facilitate that, absolutely. And that would be a crafting check.
Oh boy. Okay,
and it is untrained. But That's enough to begin helping to create some like rudimentary pickaxes.
Yeah, some basic
they're not,
shit.
Yeah, they're not great. Your basic B pickaxes. If this was Ark, they would be like flint.
Stone pickaxes.
yeah, flint or stone pickaxes. Not very good, but it gets the job done to at least help them get things
started.
Yeah. All right, but yeah, if you're spending your whole afternoon doing that, I don't think it's outside of the realm of possibility that like you're able to at least make a few.
Yeah, that was my
Let me go
plan.
ahead and roll for that hunting party. Okay. It is the evening phase. Hunting party comes back with about a day's worth of food. Not a ton. But it's at least one day that you don't have to worry about. Again, they're not like super trained. With that said, the more they go out, the more I would assume that they would get experience in doing what they do. So,
it's food we don't have to get.
yeah, it's food you don't have to get, and it's at least one day. So, I mean, essentially, you're up to 6 days worth of food, but the top of tomorrow will just be right back to 5.
Yeah.
The mining expedition actually has a little bit more success. They come back and they say that they found all kinds of rooms in this dungeon. There wasn't just the prisoner area and the library, but there were actual rooms, barracks that people were staying in. They're not really able to understand some of the language on the walls. Keep in mind, I think Maji rolled, and he found out that this is like an ancient Thessalonian place. And so, while some of it's been underground, so it hasn't like decayed, right? It's also not, it's also old, and like any of like the like beds and the like are just like gross. But there's rooms that you can understandably use for whatever resources and whatever you'd like to do with them. Not like a sprawling town or anything, but maybe man, this is going to be a whole other map I'm going to have to draw, isn't it? Holy cow.
Yeah.
This is going to be fun. All right, I'm going to put that on my list of things to do for the next session. I'm actually looking forward to that. Draw or make dungeon
At a new home.
Settlement map.
I feel like this is
Fallout.
transforming into something that's some type of hybrid of like RimWorld, Civilization, and Pathfinder, and I kind of like it. But that could just be me.
I was thinking Fallout 4 settlement builder.
Yeah, that's probably more accurate. But yeah, so the mining expedition was all right. The food expedition, okay. It is the evening phase. People are winding down for the night. You're back in the hamlet, presumably. And you are getting everybody together for an evening meal, getting ready to kind of end the day. What do you do?
I think Yozu would go over to Maji and Mr. Hammond and try to mention the emotion she felt when she said goodbye to fuck's his name? Hot Pocket? I can't remember his name.
Hot dish?
Yeah, Hot Dish.
Hot Pocket.
Okay. All right. So yeah, so you've got all three of you are at the fire eating a meal, and Yozu begins to speak about her interaction with, essentially with Hot Dish, and I'm not going to remind you how you felt. I'm just going to let you figure that out on your own and how you're going to communicate it. The fire is crackling. All of you are there, sitting and ready to eat a meal. Take it away.
With very heavy music.
Oh, yeah, you're right. That's way too heavy.
This fire. What does it mean?
So, When our new friend, Hot Dish, said goodbye, I felt a little uneasy, like something wasn't right. I don't know what. I checked my pockets were fine. It was just a little off-putting. And I'm not too sure what to do about it, or why I felt that way.
Well, he is just a random person that we happened to come by.
That
With
is
more
true.
random people that we know nothing about. Perhaps. And you see Maj take another bite.
You're really into
Heard-
character.
A dramatic pause.
Well, he's got a giant cookie.
Perhaps we should also discuss protecting or training or some sort of defenses being built. Not only for the mine, because obviously that man wanted something in there or he would not have been in there. Maj takes another bite. But perhaps they were planning on attacking this village all along.
Who?
I've learned never to trust unless it is earned. And after meeting somebody and then running off, that does not earn my trust. And he looks over at Sir Hammond. Sir Hammond here earned my trust many times over. Yozu, even though you take time out of your day, which could be better used, to
What a
pray,
dick.
I've came to appreciate your company as well, and I have started to trust you.
Yes, Yozu, you have a good heart. I trust your judgment on this hot dish you speak of. But
Yes, this food is rather warm.
However, I do not worry about the safety of our new shelter. I believe there is safety in numbers. We have one way in and out. All of our people will be much better off there, even if Hot Dish were to return with ill intent.
Maj, perhaps carving a pipe or something out of that stick from the tree. Sir Hammond,
Yes.
you are part of the Royal Guard, the Wall Watch. What
Knights of Ozum, right? Is
No,
that right,
you
Chris?
were
Knights of Ozum? Or no? Or was I something else?
The
I
Knights
thought
of
we
the
were
Last Wall.
Yes, that's what he said.
so you were a very well trained knight.
Yes.
Perhaps you can teach a few of these villagers and our refugees some skills. Well, I take the lead on preparing the mine and bring little, and he looks down at Yozu because he's actually taller than
By
Friend?
7 inches.
can work on all things nature-like. That way we have directions that we want to go, and we have some sort of established path.
We've been kind of going willy-nilly at this, but our time could be better utilized.
Sounds like a good plan. Also, that one way in and out. I feel like we need to explore this dungeon a little more. If there's any more.
I don't like calling it a dungeon anymore. This is going to be these people's homes.
Okay.
Fun.
Maybe
What should we call it?
Hmm.
Function?
And you see Maj kind of stroking a fake little rat beard.
He's covered in hair, but it's a little extra long there.
Yeah.
In the old language, there was a word that roughly translates into pillars of light. And touch those pillars, they light up. So why don't we just call it the Pillars of Light?
I like it.
It's,
So,
Let's make up a word for that.
make up a word for. Oh, gotcha. Yes, give us some time to sleep on it. We'll talk about it next time. You can just find it in your book, I'm sure.
The mighty Pillars of Light of the Snickers.
It's funny, the word is actually fungin. Sorry.
Son of a bitch. Son of a bitch.
The Hut of Pizzas.
The Hut of Pizzas. Yes, we'll come up with a name for our new place. I still plan for this to be temporary. This should not be their home forever. But it will be a bastion of safety for now.
Temporary or not, many civilizations have started on a temporary basis and grew into something much bigger and much better. We should always plan for A and B. What if they do stay? What if they eventually leave?
Speaking of A and B, I believe a one-way in and out system is probably not the safest route.
Yes. But no matter what, A or B, these miners are still going to be using this facility.
Mm-hmm.
So, we need to get it to its best for everybody's use. And yes, you're right. Ventilation would be poor with only one way in and one way out.
It smells like rat shit.
Rat's ass. I wipe, thank you very much.
No, it's very, very clean, I'm sure.
You see some dirt fall out from underneath of them.
Speaking of, we still have some things to do tonight. We've been talking, but we still have some things to do tonight.
Have we?
So that's actually a funny point, and I'm glad that just mechanically that this brings up. When I talk about the evening phase, that works a little bit differently than the morning and afternoon phase.
Right.
Evening phase is specifically meant for like
RP.
role play. You're wrapping up the day. If you're talking to people, great. I kind of let it go when you guys are doing the whole expedition things, and if you wanna like use that to like plan for people to go out and do stuff in the morning, I think that's fine. But in terms of doing like actual work, probably it's probably best to just focus on like the role play element of it there, just because I think a lot of interesting developments happened right here that otherwise wouldn't have been able to have happened. Night comes upon you, and you guys fall asleep, resting, getting ready for the next day. Let's go ahead and do this. 16. 5 options.
As much as I love playing and I really want to continue playing, it's 6 o'clock in the morning.
I know. I'm actually fixing to wrap us up right here.
Okay. Sorry.
As you... No, you're fine. You were absolutely fine. And that's a very, that's a very reasonable thing. As you guys are getting ready, it's the morning of the next day, you have kind of an orc who actually runs up to the hamlet as everybody's kind of getting ready for the day. And he is profusely sweating. Looks like he's been running, covered in blood and gross. This is the following day after your sleep, just to be clear. And he's just like breathing deeply, and he just says, "Whispering Tyrant keeps pushing to the west. We're doing everything we can to fight them back. But it's..." He takes a big swallow. He's like, it's not going well. It's not going well. Something needs to happen. And we'll go ahead and leave it there. And for those of you like Blue who's just joined in tonight, the Whispering Tyrant who started all of this, when he conquered the city of Vigil and continued to make a way to the northwest with his undead army. On the whole, you guys haven't heard a lot about that in the last couple of days, but it probably makes your skin crawl, just because for a brief moment, you're able to kind of forget about all of that. But it's a good reminder that it's still present and ongoing. We'll go ahead and close there for the night, guys. Thank you guys so much for playing. Thank you all who are here for coming and listening. Blue suggests that you better befriend those tree giants and put them against the zombie army. So,
That's a good idea.
Why isn't Blue playing with us? That's such great ideas.
Yeah,
Hey, Blue, there is always a spot.
it's an open game for people to come and join if they are so interested.
That's a good idea.
She's a good RPer.
I'm not. Yeah, I mean that. She's more than welcome to come and play. We play on Saturday nights. You've never done this before.
It's okay. I'm new too.
This is NotIrish's third Pathfinder 2e game. So, anyway, you're more than welcome. Just know that. All right, y'all. Parting words.
I'm glad you didn't die at the giant trees.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'm also thrilled to have an encounter that didn't end in combat, because it's so
Right?
rare. I always want it, and none of my party mates ever want to play along with a non-combat encounter. So, good job.
I always want
Good job.
combat.
Good job,
I
team.
always want combat.
People always want to
but
fight.
against a giant tree.
Good job, team.
It's a lot of fun.
Well,
I really enjoyed it.
I'm glad. I have some parting words for all of you. You level up to level 3.
Oh yeah.
Now you'll have to remind me how to do this because I don't remember.
Drag and drop. Drag and drop.
Shall we end the stream and recording first?
Yeah. Let's go ahead and end, and we'll do all of that stuff off. And Blue, if you actually are interested, go ahead and contact me through Discord. I am ThePrankster, and you can probably find me on DSRP, and it will be ThePrankster, parentheses, Cademan Hart. And so shoot me a message, and we'll talk. And if you're really interested, we can get you in. All right. Y'all have a great evening, and we will talk to you guys later.
Good night.